Hello and welcome back to the Ash and Stone channel. My name is Chris and today I'll show you how I go about applying banners from Little Big Men Studios. These can be very fiddly to apply, and when things go wrong they tend to go very wrong, especially with the big banners, but they do look magnificent when you get them right. I've successfully done a few of these now, and unsuccessfully done a few too, and I've got a system that seems to work. We'll be sticking this banner onto this dwarf. In addition to all your standard tools, you will need plain white paper, in this case a bit of standard printer paper, masking tape, use the standard stuff, not the low-tack stuff that I've demonstrated here, and a little double-sided tape. I start by trimming the banner from the sheet, leaving 1 millimeter or 2 around the edge. Then determine which side of the banner will be facing the front. Remember, you apply these banners face down, so what you see now is a mirror image of the final result. I want the banner to flow from left to right, looking at the figure, so the front face is the left side currently. In the most radical part of this technique, I cut the back side of the banner off, leaving the spine attached to the front side. If you get this wrong, it's not the end of the world, but your join will end up on the front side rather than hidden on the back, so it's worth taking a moment just to think about it. With that cut, grab your bit of printer paper and remove the clear backing from the front side of the banner. When you place the banner onto the paper, make sure to have plenty of excess on the spine side of the banner, and gently smooth it down, making sure it's well adhered to the paper. We then use a paintbrush to apply water to the paper backing of the decal, being careful to avoid getting water on the printer paper, as wet printer paper just complicates matters. When you've applied enough water to the paper backing, you'll begin to see the image beneath, and you can then peel off the backing, leaving the banner decal on the printer paper. If the backing paper has torn and you're left with little bits of white residue on the decal, you can gently scrub this off with a damp brush. We now need to make a couple of reference edges to line up the back side with the front. You can use scissors for this, though I used a knife, and I cut the decal flush with the top. The more accurate you make these cuts, the better. I then cut the lower triangle out, once again flush with the banner decal. Depending on the banner you are doing, you may need different references, but the important thing is that you must be able to mirror these cuts on the back side of the banner. Speaking of which, I cut the same parts from the back. Flush with the lower triangle, and flush with the top. Flipping the paper over, I can now use the reference edges to align the back of the banner with the front, effectively blind. When I'm happy everything is aligned, I fix the back in place along the spine with a little bit of masking tape. The masking tape can now be used as a hinge to open the back and allow us to peel the clear backing. You only want to peel this back halfway though, do not take it off at this stage. Because I used low-tack masking tape, the banner came off, so I had to realign it. I recommend you use normal masking tape, and then you won't have to fight the tape like I do. Where was I? Right, peel back the clear backing halfway and cut it off with your scissors, leaving the spine side attached. You can then hinge back using the masking tape and roll the banner down onto the paper, keeping the adhesive from touching. Then smooth your way from the spine to the edges and everything should remain perfectly aligned. Mine shifted slightly due to the low-tack tape, but it won't if you use regular masking tape. Once we are securely stuck, the masking tape can come off. Flipping back over to the front, the rest of the banner can be trimmed. Leave 5 to 10 millimeters extra on the spine side, we'll call this the overlap, but cut the rest flush. Make sure you hold the unstuck area of the back firmly while cutting, just so no mistakes happen. The banner is now ready to be wrapped around the pole. To aid in this, I add a little bit of curvature to the spine area of the banner, and I also fold back along the edges of the spine where the banner will stick out from the pole around 90 degrees. A small strip of double-sided tape is applied to the back of the overlap and then cut to length. Grab your miniature and take the backing off the double-sided tape. Then you want to carefully wrap the banner around the pole, making sure everything is nice and straight. Be careful not to stick the double-sided tape to any of the paper until everything is in position. If it's not quite right, the double-sided tape will come off the miniature without issue, less so off paper. When you're happy with the position of the banner, you can carefully stick the double-sided tape to the back of the printer paper underneath the back decal of the banner. Make sure the corners are nicely defined by running the back of a knife or your nail along the edge. When we are nice and stuck, we can remove the remaining clear backing from the decal and work the sticky side down from the outside in towards the pole. With that stuck, we brush on water until we can remove the paper backing from the banner. Looks pretty good. The white edges of the paper will now need to be painted. Just select an appropriate colour and run a little paint along the edge. The gap along the back is also painted using an appropriate colour. And then the whole banner is given a spray of clear flat varnish. Once the varnish is dry, we can bend the banner and add a little bit of life to it. Too easy. How have you lot got on with these banners? I've ruined a couple trying to get them to line up using other methods, and have found just sticking them to a bit of paper, then wrapping them as directed in the instructions is unsatisfactory and awkward to line up. This method has the advantage of excellent alignment, minimising the area of adhesive when getting the banner onto the model, and one layer of paper keeps the banner nice and thin and flexible. It does take a little longer though, with a few more steps. Let me know what you think. Also, 1,000 subs! Thanks heaps team, it really does mean a lot. I'm glad you're all finding the videos helpful and or entertaining. Anyway, thank you very much for watching and we will see you next time. Cheers!